Hi villagers, I'm very excited today. Today's interview is with a very old family friend who I met when I was 9. She was a grown woman at the time, and she has been in love with Disney for as long as I have known her. In fact, the only time I've ever been to Disney was with Julie. While I was on exchange, I did a Christmas session spread between her house and another lady's, and Julie took me to Florida, where we listened to the whole of the Les Miserables soundtrack in the car for the 8 hours it takes to drive between Atlanta and Florida. And then they took me around Disneyland, Epcot, rather than the Magic Kingdom. And I don't really remember very much about the whole day, to be perfectly honest. I remember standing in the British pub just to prove that I've been. It smells like a British pub, so, it was spot on for that reason. And we watched the fireworks and I was very cold, so I had to invest in a Winnie the Pooh sweatshirt, which I kept for a really, really long time. We've had to push the time back twice this evening because of various things at both ends, so that at least we are now hopefully going to sort ourselves out. So Julie's had a career and now works at Disney in her retirement years, which isn't what a lot of people do. So let's talk to Julie and find out why.
Tamsin, I need to answer you on my, I was thinking it would answer, my iPad would answer, but it did not.
Oh no.
Do you want me to, huh?
No, you're fine.
Should I try to, are you sure?
Yeah, it's not a problem.
Okay, let me go to another location that's not so echoey. Was that echoey for you? Hey! Is this okay?
Oh, actually, yes, and now you turn the right way. Marvellous.
Huh?
You're the right way around now.
Yeah. Oh, that was my phone. That's why I thought, oh no, it's bad. Thank you. I'm so sorry. It's been kind of crazy trying to get everything together.
Well, we're here now. That's the important thing.
Yes, yeah. How are you?
Good. I fell over today. I got out.
What?
I fell over. I got out of the car, was carrying some things. Our driveway's a bit in need, and I fell over. Everything went flying. My husband's office looks out over the driveway, so he saw me go, came rushing down the stairs, and I'm lying on the floor going, check that I haven't spilt the sour cream. It's the only thing I was worried about, but I've grazed my knee, and my wrists and my ankles and my shoulder all feel like I've beaten up myself.
Tamsin, you should have learned that in our stage, not stage directing, in our stage fighting, that you never fall with your wrist. You hold your arms up like that.
But I was holding
on your booty,
stuff.
On your bum. You fall on your bum. I'm going to go get my water.
Get your water. And any things that you wrote down the answers to?
I wrote answers down for everything.
Good.
So I can even send you the transcript. I was afraid of what I might answer. I guess I may change my answers. I haven't looked over them.
That's fine. Most people that I've done so far have said they have actually, some of them were quite nervous, but they have enjoyed the experience of the sort of deep and meaningful questions, not necessarily just what you like to have on pizza.
Oh, I did it. I think I wrote long answers to a couple of them.
Yeah.
But
well, some of them need long answers, don't they? And some of them, like, how many siblings have you got, don't need long answers.
Right.
Oh, love the sticker on your laptop.
Plug my phone in, just in case.
Yes, because we don't want to lose you halfway through now that we've made the show.
Well, it's got, I've been driving around, and so it's been plugged in. Oh my gosh. Then I remembered, because Disney messes me up so much with my days. I work Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And yesterday I worked just because I wanted to work fireworks. I don't want them to forget me when it comes to the parties. Yeah. They have parties for Halloween and stuff. And you have to work nights. And that means fireworks. Anyway, I forget what day it is. When I'm off, it's for the weekend. Yeah. It's not the weekend. It indeed is a weekday.
It is.
So
it Friday.
Begins around 2.
Yeah. So between a sleepover going on in my house and the need to get pizza, and then them dithering about which flavour pizzas they wanted, and then it took ages for the pizza shop to make it, so we've pushed it back for me, and then you had traffic issues, so you've had to push it back as well. So at least we're here together now.
I know. Yes.
So welcome.
I know, so it worked out, I guess. I'm glad you were flexible. Thank you so much.
Well, I said to my household, if it gets as far as midnight, then I'm going to bed.
Oh, gosh.
But at the moment, we are blessed with only a 4-hour time difference, so at least that's something. It hasn't been quite as complicated.
Yeah. So hopefully it won't go that long.
Take a deep breath, and we'll get started.
Okay. Yes, I'm going to find my notes.
Find your notes.
That's my dogs.
What sort of dogs have you got?
My dog. And they get extremely jealous.
Bless.
Tamsin interview. There you are.
Hello.
Oh, they just got out. So they're playing a bit. I'll let them. They won't play very long, if that's okay. Do I need to make them quiet?
I'm quite happy to
I can make them quiet for a while. Here, let me go get them sticks.
Introduce them or something, and then that'll do.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah, I can. Really quickly. These are my dogs. Can you say hello, doggies? I'll turn it around. No, get back. Well, maybe I can. I don't know. It is FaceTime, but my camera's not working correctly, so I'll show you. Can you see them?
Hello.
That's them. Okay, I'm going to go get them sticks. So hold on. Okay, we'll at least have quiet for 10 minutes.
Right, well, let's rush on quick while we have the chance.
Okay, yes, I know.
So, on the whole, everybody gets the same set of questions, except the bits that are pertinent to them. So, obviously, yours are very different to everybody else's, because I've not done anybody who's particularly like you before. So, we'll start with the simple answered questions, and we'll get on to the deep and meaningfuls, if that's all okay.
Okay, sure.
So, I've just explained off camera, as a separate recording that I'll stitch in, that I was 9 when we first met. So
you were so cute.
And my daughter is now nearly 14. So the fact that I would have been significantly less than her when we met, I think is quite astonishing.
Yeah, I think as well that is very astonishing.
Yes, and now we're all what we are now instead.
We won't mention the ages.
We won't mention the ages.
It means nothing.
No. Do you have any siblings, and where did you grow up?
I do have 2 siblings. I'm the oldest. I have 2 brothers. Bill, who is 2 years younger than me, and then my other brother, Eric. He is 7 years younger than me, and I practically raised him. We had a lot of fun together.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Did you grow up in Atlanta or somewhere else?
I'm sorry. No, I did not, which may explain why I'm so different. I was born in Illinois, and we lived in about 7 or 10 different cities in Illinois. We moved every year of my life. Then we moved from those 7 or 10 cities, I don't even know. I could name them if you needed me to. We moved to Indiana, Virginia, New York, Florida, then finally to Georgia. And when I was in 8th grade, and then we stayed in Georgia until I'm now presently living in Florida. We moved to 3 different cities in Georgia. Goodness. So people like to ask me, "Oh, you must have been in. Was your dad in armed forces?" I said,
That's what I was going to ask. Yeah.
"Yeah, no. He just changed jobs a lot,
Right.
or either that, or the law was after him. I don't really know.
Okay.
Maybe I don't know. It's just what we did. We moved every year, sometimes twice in a year.
Oh wow. Well, I guess that helps with decluttering your life, doesn't it? There's no
Exactly.
hoarding or anything if you kind of
Yeah.
go that often. And how many children do you have?
I have 3 wonderful children. We waited almost 20 years before deciding to adopt children. And we adopted them all when they were 3 months old. They're from Vietnam, a boy, and he is with me here in Florida. He's 25, working at Disney, and he's in guest relations. He speaks Spanish, French, and Portuguese.
Oh wow.
And imagine an Asian with a Southern accent speaking Spanish, Portuguese, and people, it's hard for them to compute. Then my 2 daughters are still in Georgia. They graduate. One graduates this year. She's 22, and the other graduates next year. She is also 22. There's a whole story behind that, but we won't go into that.
Okay. And they're at medical school, is that
right? One is in medical school. The other is in psychology, and she'll probably go on to graduate school and maybe get her doctorate. Oh, wow. She hasn't committed to that yet. So funny. She hated school in high school, and but she's quite brilliant. She's a writer like you.
Well, we won't call me that until I've had anything published, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, I feel like you can do anything, Tamsin.
Well, thank you.
Uh-huh. I do. I'm not just saying that.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. How are you finding being in Florida without Edsel?
He is here now.
Oh, is he now? Oh, marvelous.
Yeah. He came in December, and it was actually not so bad. I really kind of enjoyed the freedom when it was just Cole and myself. Yeah. There was nothing to worry about. But it is nice to have him here.
Do you want to tackle the long marriage question, or shall we skip over that?
What was it? What was the marriage question?
Secrets to a long marriage.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to realize that it's not going to be the same every day that you're married.
Yeah.
And there will be trials along the way. And so that is why the answer that I put was you have to be able to laugh at yourself and not take things so seriously. And you must not have expectations on what a marriage is. And if you think it's give and take, it's not. It's give. Yeah. It's give. And then you have to decide, how much are you willing to give? Yeah. And let me see what else I put. Secrets to listening, and you have to listen with an open heart, and you have to be willing to forgive. Not to say that you have to forget, but truly you do have to forgive.
How long have you been married?
42 years.
We're just coming up on 21, so our marriage is now nearly an American able to drink.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So you've now been married.
And that certainly does solve some things too, but not if you do it incessantly.
Okay, let's skip away and we'll go and do some other bits.
Okay.
So, what did you want to be when you were a little girl? What did you want to be when you grew up?
Well, let me see what I put. Yes, I was going to make sure I put that. I've always wanted to direct, ever since I can remember, with little kids, with the neighbor kids. I always wanted to tell them what to do. I never really wanted to act, but I would take the stories and say, you do this, and when you come in, do this and this and this. And I always presented it to the moms and dads, always, without fail. And the other thing I always wanted to do was go to the ocean. And I loved all the sea animals. So I wanted to be a marine biologist, which is what I did both of those things. I started out in marine biology, and I found out that you had to have physics, 4 quarters of physics, and I barely passed the first one. And I said, I am not doing this. So I majored in theater. So yeah, that's
Those
what
two
I
things
always wanted
that
to do.
don't sound like they go together at all, do they? Marine biology and
I was like,
directing.
no way. I'm not smart like that.
No, I think
can't.
that amount of physics would do me in too.
I just want to scuba dive.
So what have you, before you came to Florida, what were you doing for a living?
I was retired, so I picked up, yeah, but I was doing a most wonderful thing, because I was kind of flip-flopping around like a fish, not knowing what to do after I retired. And I can I tell this story?
Go ahead and tell whatever you
A little
like.
bit after I retired, I thought I had a shoe-in at a private school as a fine arts director. I kind of really did. And I had a strategy. It was solid. I was going to bring in all these arts people. They were going to teach classes, and there was not going to be a whole, it was all settled, and everybody was on fire about it. And Andy, my former boss, had said she'd be great. It was all settled. And that's one of the reasons I left North Point, because I thought, great, I'm done at North Point. I set up at North Point Community Church. I know I'm referencing that, but I had replaced myself. I was no longer a service programming director. I didn't do the broadcast thing because Andy decided he didn't like broadcast in studio work, which is what I was doing. He did not want to do studio work, which makes sense. So my job just kind of was like not there, and I thought, Andy and I talked, and we decided, let's just do a nice severance package, and you can pursue other things. So I had 3 years to figure out what I wanted to do. Figured it out. I wanted to be a fine arts director. And then the lady that was the secretary raised her hand and said, I want to do it.
Oh.
and they all went, oh, okay, even though she had said, I do not want to do that job. No, not in a million years do I want to do that job. Well, I guess a million years went by, and we didn't see it. And all of a sudden, I was like this. You have to do the flip-flop. So I thought, okay, God, well, I can substitute teach. I do love children, so I'll do that. So that was my job before I came to Florida. I substitute taught, and I decided when I substitute taught that all the substitute teachers I know will say, no, I don't feel like coming today. No, I've got a hair appointment. No, my teeth feel funny today. I said, I'm just going to say yes. I'm just going to say yes. No matter what, I'm going to say yes. Well, guess what? That put me on the good list. Let's call her. She always says yes. And pretty soon the principal asked me to be part-time. And then the following year, they asked me to be a full-time assistant, teacher assistant. And that was the best job ever because Tamsin, when I was at North Point, Julie Arnold, I was well known because, we started that church, and I was well known in church world. And within even our church, Julie Arnold, and nobody in kindergarten knew who in the world I was. They just knew I was the older lady with the blonde hair, right? and and those kindergartners were just they it's like starting life all over again and finding out who you really are, because they are learning who you are, you're learning who they are. I kind of hated leaving that job, but I knew it was time to go because Cole, my son, wanted to come, and the market was right for selling our house. It was all, all the stars were aligned. So being a teacher assistant was amazing. It became a defining moment of finding out who I was deep inside, because those kids, they don't mess around. They say, "You're old." Yeah, I am. I yeah. Why is it so hard for you? Why do you grunt when you bend over?
Because I'm old.
Yeah, I didn't realize I did that. I do. Well, you have to explain everything on their terms.
So
It
cute.
is the most awesome thing ever. If you want to find out who you are, work with 4 and 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds. Once you get past 6, because and you're not their mom and dad. It's different when you're mom and dad.
Yeah.
Because you have to raise them, rear them. Anyway, that's what I did before. That's a long story. Sorry.
No. Going to work at Disney was not your long-term retirement plan then. It sounds as though you just decided latterly.
It was my long-term plan.
Oh, was it?
It was, yes. I just had to wait for Cole to finish school and Edsel to finish work too. But it just kind of, the timelines were, had to align too, and they still didn't perfectly align, but it still worked out because Cole. I wanted to be at the girls' school because they didn't graduate. Once they graduated, I felt the freedom to go to Florida.
Yeah.
While they were in college, and it and the market, we wanted to sell our house and make good money on it, and we did. It sold for almost 3 times what we bought for it.
Smash it.
Because of the market. I know it was crazy. Like, I don't think I would have paid that much for that house ever. It was a nice home, nice, but no.
So how does one get to go to work at Disneyland?
That's a good question.
Other than take your son who speaks 3 languages.
I tried very hard, but really, I applied. I went to Disney auditions, did how to get a job at Disney. I Googled this, Googled that, and I kept Googling. And finally, I came across the Google that said how to get a frontline operator job at Disney. And I followed the directions on that. That's how. And I got an interview right away. And once they interview you, if you get an interview, they will place you. Yeah.
They need thousands of staff, don't they, really, to do absolutely all the things that get done there.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
do they rotate
so
you,
that's how.
Or are you doing the same job every day?
Oh, that's the great thing about Disney is I do different jobs within the same realm.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, basically what I do in my realm right now is it's called guest flow team. So I work the parades, and there's big parades, small parades. There's trolleys. There's let me see what I wrote down.
They do something when it rains as well, don't they? Isn't it like a wet weather?
Oh yeah, small parade. The rain parade is what they call it. And I just interact with the guests, keep them to the side, and it sounds boring, but it's as much fun as you want to make it.
Yeah.
Like, we set up for the parade, and then we're free. We stay usually around our area, and people ask us questions, and we can go talk to them. We have stickers and games we can play with them. We can say, "Hi, you guys doing okay today? Is there anything I can help you find?" And then there's other areas, like I could be a conductor or train if I want to. I can go to Town Square Theater and be a part of them. Town Square Theater is where people line up to meet Mickey and Minnie and Tinkerbell, I think. I'm trained to do that.
Oh, right.
I know. Yeah, and I can drive the vehicles. We have classic cars, true vintage classic cars, and trolleys with horses that I can do. So we get rotated out. This past 2 days, I've escorted the parade instead of actually stood like this. Sorry, feet go right there into the yellow line. And, there are some people that go, feet over the yellow line, but most of us are really nice and say, you want to keep your feet in the yellow line.
You'll get a better response from the public if you're nice, I guess.
Oh, yeah. And we spiel to the crowds, hey, you guys, welcome to the Festival of Fantasy Parade. You're in for a real treat. How many of you have seen the parade? Well, you are going to be so surprised. It's ginormous. It's however fun you want to make it. And most everybody is really, really fun. Some are shy, but they still make them do it. Because
do they recruit internationally, or do they only recruit Americans?
No, they do international. Like, we have a guy from Netherlands. We have a lot of people from PR, Puerto Rico. Because of Spanish, we have so many Spanish people that come, Spanish-speaking people that come to Disney now. Dominican Republic, Canada. There's a lot of international. Yeah. That's what I love about Disney. It's so inclusive. That is really, really big with them.
Is there anything you don't like about your current job?
Yes. I don't like. I have to park in Timbuktu, get on a bus, and walk in the tunnels half a mile to my job.
Wow. Well, it'll keep you fit. It'll keep you fit.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Is there anything you would like to tell anybody who aspires to work at Disney? Practice walking, by the sound of it.
No, it's not. At the Auto Plaza, I hardly walked at all. I would say just smile. Don't take yourself seriously. I think they really enjoy people who enjoy life.
Yeah.
More than anything. And here's the main thing. I never see anything as a problem. I see it as an opportunity. And I think that's what they look for.
Yeah.
If you see things as an opportunity, it behooves you. I think that's the first thing they look for. And the smile.
Yeah.
So
I guess it helps if you're a lifelong lover of Disney. I guess is the short answer, isn't it?
But not necessarily. Not really. I think they care. It helps when people come up and say, where can I get a Dole Whip? That helps.
Yeah. So a good sense of geography and a smile and a willing attitude.
Yes, a willing attitude, exactly.
Okay. If you were going to host a celebrity dinner party, who would you invite?
Yeah, but there are some questions you didn't. Oh, yeah.
Some people I've asked have struggled greatly with this question, and other people
have
it is
because
answers.
Most celebrities I don't want to know about them, but
some people said that too.
And of course I went maybe Walt Disney.
Oh, probably, yes, in your case.
But I put maybe Chris Pratt.
I love Chris Pratt.
I know. He, I absolutely adore him. And then I put, for a woman, because she's just such an enigma. Can't even say the word. Selena Gomez.
Oh, right.
She made it alive out of Disney, and that is really hard to do. Just because I want to know about her. She's so private. Anyway, but Chris Pratt, definitely.
He seems like a really nice guy. I watched an interview on Jimmy Fallon recently with Chris Pratt. And he was talking about his kids and what it's like to be a dad and all this stuff. And you just go, oh, you're just a really nice bloke.
Yeah, I know. And I saw it on Twitter that he said, this has been such a hard decision, but I don't think I'm, and it was when COVID was around, and Bob Chapek, always have a hard time saying that because they called him Bob Paycheck for a long time, was in charge. He said, and he was so nice about it. He wasn't jerky. He said, I've had a really hard time, but I'm going to have to make the decision not to go to Disney this year. He said, that's been really hard for me, but I'm just going to go ski or something instead, because I just can't. I can't make myself pay that kind of money for but he was just so nice about it. Yeah. He wasn't derogatory. So that one, yeah.
Okay. Now, given that I met you in the UK and you clearly don't live here, where would you travel if money was no object and I could give away free money to go travelling? Where would you go?
I would go to France.
Oh.
I know.
Now, that's where we went. We went to the French restaurant in France, in Epcot. That's where we went.
Where?
Epcot. I don't remember what the restaurant was called.
Oh, yeah.
When you took me.
Yes, I love that place.
I don't even know whether it's still there.
De France.
Yes, something.
Yeah.
Having not been back to Disneyland since I last left you there, I don't know, but I've been watching lots of YouTube videos of other people going around Disney, possibly with the intention of going at some point. And Charlotte seems to have grown out of the idea of going to Disney, and I've grown into the idea of going to Disney. So it might have to be my retirement plan too.
You could do it.
Yeah. What would be your last meal?
This is so crazy, but without a doubt, I can't have it. But it would be my mom's beef and noodles.
You are the third person to say something that their mum cooked.
Really? Oh, if I'd only gotten the recipe, it would be my mom's beef and noodles. So crazy.
It's what we
I don't
like.
even have to think
about memories
that.
And stuff, doesn't it? I guess that's partly what it's to do with.
Yeah. What would be yours?
And my mum's chicken and vegetable stew with dumplings.
Yum! That sounds really good too. It's always comfort food, I bet.
It is, and I've tried making it myself and it doesn't come out the same. So I'm going to have to get her to teach me how to make it properly while I still have access to her.
Yes.
Do you have a favourite author?
I do, and I had to really narrow it down, and I've narrowed it down to 2.
Oh, well done.
But the first one is definitely, and I hate to be redundant, but it really is C.S. Lewis, because his chronicles, and it's not because of his Christian books, although they are very, very good. But I love Chronicles of Narnia. I adore the Chronicles of Narnia, and the other one is J.K. Rowling. Both of those, I just love science fiction. And for Christian reading, I actually have 4. Christian reading is Henry Nouwen. I don't know if you know him.
No.
But if you get a book, it's very thin. It's teeny tiny, so easy to read. But um, it follows what I went through. And I used to make our SPD department, anybody who came to work with me, read this book. It's called In the Name of Jesus. And he was a renowned professor in, I think, Harvard. And he decided to go work at a mental disabilities place. And they monks, I think. I can't remember. And he was nobody there. Nobody knew who he was. And I used to, before I even did it, it aligned perfectly with where I was. And it was so interesting. I need to reread it because it's so good. But that one, and then for leadership books, there is no one like Patrick Lencioni. I don't know if you know him,
nope.
But he wrote, and I used to make everybody do this. This was the Bible for leadership, I call it, is the 5 dysfunctions of a team. It's a fairly easy read too. Anyway, okay, done.
Is there a job that you would have been terrible at?
Oh gosh, yes. Either hairstylist or seamstress. Yes.
Okay.
I can't do anything with these chubby fingers.
Everybody knows what they would be terrible at, even if they don't know what they want to be when they grow up.
What's yours?
Nurse. I knew from a very early age I was not cut out for nursing. My grandma wanted me to be a nurse. She wanted one of my brothers to be Prime Minister.
Oh!
That's not going to happen either. But I don't like sick. I'm very bothered about people drunks because I think they're going to be sick. I'm all right with a little bit of blood, and I'm currently first aid trained, so, you know, there's obviously a little bit of leeway, but generally speaking, no, not good with people.
That's really good. I can sew a button.
I can sew buttons, and I own a sewing machine, but I don't really use it very much. Okay, imagine you are standing in an ice cream shop. What flavour are you buying?
Chocolate.
Lovely.
Just chocolate.
Okay. Straight up, simple.
Sometimes I break it up with pralines and cream, but chocolate is the best. With toppings, of course, but they vary.
Flavour. Righto. If you're standing in a bookstore or a library, which shelf are you standing next to?
Oh, it varies.
Okay.
Usually, I always am drawn to the biographies or World War II. Yeah. Ironically, I'm not drawn to the fiction stuff at all. I love biographies. Well,
next question is nicely tailored in that case then. If you now wrote your memoir, what would it be called?
Oh.
Have you picked a fantastic name?
Answer this?
Disney, A Lifelong Love.
Better to Live and Love.
Sorry, say that again.
Better, does that even make sense? Better to live and love. I don't know. I couldn't come up with it. Better to live by love. Better to live and love. Better to love and live. Maybe it should be that. Okay. I should probably think about that a little bit more.
Those words in some combination then.
Yeah. Something like that.
If you owned a horse, what would it be called?
Run like the wind.
Lovely.
I always say that. Run like the wind. I love horses. I love all the movies. Seen all the movies about horses. Secretariat, Seabiscuit, Dark Horse. I've seen them all.
It's obviously a good question for you then, isn't it? And you have an instant answer.
What? Oh, yeah, run like the wind, yes.
Run like the wind.
Because he says, run like the wind, bullseye. You know what I'm talking about? Yes.
Does the same apply to a boat? If you owned a boat, what would it be called?
Oh, is that on here? Oh, Lady Hawk.
Say again?
Lady Hawk.
Lady Hawk. Nice. What makes you feel unstoppable or invincible?
Riding a bicycle.
Oh.
I used to ride my bicycle on, and I've like a true cyclist. I've ridden several centuries, 100-mile rides, and I used to ride every day, 33 miles. But
Wow.
that's before we had children. Yeah, it was nothing. It was like going out for a run. You just ride.
It wouldn't be nothing if I did it.
You would. You get used to it. And when that wind would hit me in the face, it just felt awesome. When you're riding the centuries, you're usually going through the country and you're going down hills, and it's just a beautiful experience. So it's kind of like riding in a boat. I love the going. The best part, we went to Switzerland, and the best part about our trip and Germany was riding in Lake Lucerne on a boat. Oh, it was because the mountains were all around us and the wind was blowing in. It was a beautiful day. I just love the wind. Run like the wind.
Bullseye. If you could time travel, where would you go?
The 1920s.
Oh.
Great Gatsby era.
What's your biggest achievement and what's your biggest regret? There are about 4 questions down.
Okay, yes, I'm just reading. And my biggest achievement was helping build a new kind of church that embraces different ways to worship other than music. And we built it because a few of us wanted to build a church that people would want to come to, that you don't have to try to explain or qualify. Mm-hmm. Well, now the preacher is a little better, or the music. There's ladies that sing, and they'll go away soon. Don't worry. We wanted to say you should come. It really is great. We wanted to build that kind of church, and we did, and it drew thousands of people. Literally, we never even dreamed it would do that, and that people's lives would be changed. So definitely that. My biggest regret is I don't have any.
Lovely.
I mean, there are lots of things I regret, but I don't really regret them because I wouldn't be where I am today if I... Yeah. Actually, I do have a regret. I do regret this. And I do tell people this. My mom passed away when I was 28, and I was too immature. I didn't have a great relationship with her, and so I didn't make time for her. She had cancer, and it was a fast-acting cancer. Mm-hmm. And she lived in Florida, and I lived in Georgia. And I didn't spend as much time as I should have with her. But, in a way, it's not a regret. Because I did that, I made it a priority to spend time with my dad. Before he passed, he was an alcoholic. He didn't like me. But I still, and I also did that with my grandmother. I did the same thing. And why I don't regret it too is because I tell other people who have bad relationships with their parents, please, you'll regret not spending time. I have. So yeah, no, I don't have any regrets. So I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
I'll see her in heaven, I think, because, yeah. Anyway.
Nice. What would you like as a superpower?
Fly. I'd love to fly. Because of the wind, I guess. The wind. Run like the wind. Okay. I'm going to make that my new mantra.
think you've just answered the what's your memoir called.
I know, I think you're right. I think you're right.
What's the weirdest thing you have ever eaten?
Escargot. Snails.
I don't believe you made me eat them in the French restaurant we went to in Epcot. I think there was some sort of, shall we make her eat escargot? And like, no, we shall not.
You remember so much.
My mum always says that. You remember things that I don't think happened. And it's like, no, I don't think they didn't happen. I think you just don't remember them.
Yes, it's true. You're like my daughter Eleanor, the one that's going to be a professor. Scary. She says she remembers everything too.
I guess the question is, what does she not know that she doesn't know?
I know.
Is the thing, isn't it? Do you have a guilty pleasure?
Oh yes, it's. Where is that?
It's about 6 from the bottom. I've skipped some.
I'm sure it's eating sweets. Oh yes, chocolate and napping. Napping is my guilty pleasure. Yeah. I love to nap.
I agree with you. That's a fantastic idea, especially if you're walking that many not documented number of miles a day.
I love to nap when it's sun shining out and I should be outside, but I take a nap instead.
I don't think the answer to this is yes, but do you have a secret talent? I think all your talents are quite clearly on display.
Oh, no, yes I do. I do. I couldn't decide whether to say drumming, I can play drums, or play my teeth. It's the same thing. I can, because my mom, she hated that I had to practice drumming, so I practiced my teeth instead. So I had to practice.
I understand.
Which doesn't make sense. I had to practice my drumming. I was in a drum and bugle corps, military drum, all girls drum and bugle corps growing up, and we were quite the thing. We went to Macy's. We did Carnegie Hall. We did all. Nobody knows anything. They were very. I want to do a movie about it, but no one will cooperate.
Who would play you?
Huh?
Who would play you?
Oh, I don't want to put me in it. I want to put this other lady. She won. I wanted to be in the 40s. It started in the 40s, and the lady, her name is Rita, and she won the National Drummer Championship. She was the first woman to ever win it. That's who, and I wanted to be in that era. Mm-hmm. And I'm just gonna have to make up from facts. And anyway, I need to get working on it again. I don't know what to call it.
They make all sorts of movies about people that nobody ever knew about to start with, don't they? And then by the end of it, they're, famous and whatnot. So yeah, go for it. Okay, last question. Where do you go for fresh inspiration? It was about 2 questions above the guilty pleasure.
Lots of places, really. It can be anywhere. A field, a tree, a coffee shop, my chair, my room. Really anywhere.
You're a proper creative type.
Huh?
You're a proper creative type, aren't you? Just inspirations everywhere.
I don't have to. I just have to be isolated. Okay. I have to, and yeah, I do have to be isolated because I have ADHD.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is as long as I'm isolated, or I feel like I'm isolated.
How do you balance that with your job?
Oh, I only work 3 days a week, supposedly. Sometimes I go, another day off. You can put in for as many days as you want.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been working 4 days, 5 days, but I enjoy the time off. do.
So, I asked you once before, do they provide housing for staff, or have you got to find your own house and then just commute in like it was any other kind of regular job?
They did. They just opened Flamingo. Sorry, Siri is talking. Not Siri. Alexa is talking to me. The Flamingo has apartments that they provide for the. They have to pay rent for the college program kids, but they just open it up to people who work at Disney.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they don't provide it. You have to pay for it, but it's not expensive.
But you have your own house or apartment, you were saying?
Yeah, we lived in a townhome. This is before they just did it. We had a townhome in Kissimmee that was close. It was so nice. It was like 15 minutes to get to Disney. And I think that's why I'm so spoiled. That's one thing I don't like, because I know it's 15 minutes, and I worked at the Auto Plaza, and we got to park right there.
Oh, okay.
I get out of my car and I go to work. I don't do that anymore.
No,
it's 40 minutes there. Yeah. I park. I walk 10 minutes, not really, probably 5 minutes, and then I get on the bus and then I walk to. Yeah, I'm spoiled.
Lots of pardon the expression, older people in the UK take their second jobs after they've retired from their first careers at B&Q, which is effectively Home Depot.
Yeah.
Do you find lots of American mature population go to work there?
Yes. Yes. I would say 5%, maybe 8% are on Main Street. But they're not old in Main Street. There are some older people in some of the other areas. So yeah, I wouldn't say a lot of them.
So you're not unique in having a retirement at Disney, but you're not the
only one.
The rule either. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's and the kids all treat us nice. I mean, it's not like we're one of them, but not to go out with.
Yeah.
In fact, it's pretty much a working environment, because we don't have time to socialize.
But you'd recommend it by the sound of it.
Oh yeah. It depends on the chords and the leaders, but Toy Story was not a good place where I started.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but it still is a bad place. Not good. It's not horrible. It's just I thought I was going to be terminated if it left, because they just didn't like me. Imagine that, me. But the proprietor, the big guy in charge, pulled me in, because I finally raised my white flag and said, I know this is not for me. Can I just stop now? And my trainer was wonderful. She said, let me see what I can do. And so she took me to the proprietor, the big guy, and he said, you're obviously, like, if Disney could have a perfect employee, you would be it. Aww. So I know, it was so sweet. And he said, we're going to recast you. We don't do this with everybody, but we're going to recast you, that you choose. And so I chose Auto Plaza. That was my second job. But for the most part, if you get a lousy job, a bad area, you can transfer in 6 months. I transferred in 3 weeks. And some people are in housekeeping. They transferred in 3 months. You just have to be willing to stick it out, and it's worth it. I think. I mean, if you get a not so great area, and the people that I worked with in Auto Plaza were little, and they got transferred out and terminated. It's like any other business, you know. And right now, where I am, they weren't great either, but now they're turning that area around. It really is just like any other business. And what makes it really are the cast members and the people that come there. They're wanting it to be happy.
Yeah.
And if you're happy with them, they're happy.
So a retirement in the happiest place on earth is something you would recommend then?
Yeah. I don't know of any college kids. They all come back. There's only the ones that are dismally unhappy. Like, they're basically unhappy people. Don't, you know, or they really have a career path set before them. Yeah. That's not what they're about. They just came to check Disney out. The rest of them, so many come back and work at Disney, either for digital reasons or lawyer. I mean, there's so many, paths they can try to get in. They all want back in.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure it's a good place to be. And you can make okay money there. Like my son is making about $60,000 as guest relations. I'm only making $18 an hour. I'll make $20 next year. That's not bad.
No.
You can't live off of it. You have to have a roommate or two.
But you're not full-time either, are you, said?
No. Or even full-time, you can't live solely off of it. You'd have to live with a roommate. But that's kind of standard anywhere you go in the States.
At the moment, yeah. Hello, doggies. The doggies are back. You've obviously had your time.
I don't know. He's like, "Are you still on that phone?" This is how long I talked to Lillian, my daughter. She calls me. FaceTime is a wonderful thing.
Yeah. I don't know how we'd coped if we had to do COVID 30 years ago.
Oh gosh, really? It would have
been awful.
Seriously.
Schooling would have been awful, and people's mental state would have been awful.
Oh, it was already bad. I mean, the fact that we couldn't see Etzel's mom. We spent 2 Thanksgivings at her window in her nursing home because we couldn't go in.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Yeah.
So, where are you living? What's your
Nottingham.
address? Do I have your address?
I don't know. I will text it to you after.
Okay, please do.
We're in Nottingham.
So you are?
Right in the middle of the country.
English people come. I used to see them all the time because they'd come through the Auto Plaza.
Yeah.
They're here for 2 weeks. It is so cheap for you guys to
it
come.
Is.
Do you know that?
Yeah, I've looked into it. It does, and we have some Americans at the church I go to now, and they were back recently and went to Disney for the day, and he told me how much the day tickets cost. I nearly died on the spot because the UK Disney booking site is separate for UK residents, and everybody else just books from some other mechanism if you're a foreign national, and you get like 14-day tickets for the price of 10 or something like that.
Yeah.
So it definitely pays to be British and buy your tickets for Disney. So yeah, it'll have to be my big saving up project, I think.
And I think you get other things too. I couldn't believe it. I thought, oh well, I'm glad they're giving our partners over there incentives to come.
Yeah.
They come all the time. all the time. I said, "What part are you from?" And they go, "Great Britain." I said, "Yes, obviously."
Actually, it's not obvious. When I was a student in the US, I was mistaken for being French more than once. I know, I couldn't work out why either. And I returned a year after we were married so that my husband could see the university I'd been based at. And the two ladies in the food court in the shopping mall nearby, he was stood talking with them and laughing. I thought, this is very strange. He's a proper introvert. There's no way he's standing there telling them jokes or whatever. And when he got to, because we'd gone to two different places to eat and then we're going to meet in the food court. And he was ages. And I said, what on earth are you laughing about? He said, they think I'm an Australian high school student. He was 27. And he said, I've had to point you out across the food court and say, that's my wife over there. And they didn't believe him. They thought he was Australian, which did happen to me several times too. So the fact that a British person has said to you, Great Britain, not Manchester or, wherever they're actually from, is because they don't expect you to know that they're British. But yeah, he came home and grew a beard after that occasion because apparently he still looked very baby-faced. Well, he's had a beard ever since. We've said if he ever shaved it off, Charlotte would have to be in the room with him when he shaves it off because she won't know what he looks like underneath.
I can't believe he's kept it all these years.
Yeah, well, yeah, so we've now been married nearly 21 years, so...
That's crazy.
19 years with a beard. I won't remember what he looks like without a beard either.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Right, well, we'll wrap up here.
Well,
Thank you
I'll
very
let
much
you go
for
because
coming.
I know you're tired. Yes.
Thank you very much for joining us and being willing to chat.
I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Say hi to Edsel for me when you next see him.
I will do that. I'll tell him you said hello.
Right, well,
Take
I'll say
care.
goodnight and you can get off and feed those dogs or entertain those dogs, rather.
Yeah, that's what they want. They want to eat. It's dinner time is what they're saying.
Right.
Chop, chop. That's what they're saying.
Get
I know
on with
it
it,
is.
my butler.
Oh, yeah. 5 o'clock. It's time for food, Mom.
Definitely. Okay, well, you take care and I'll speak to you again.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.